Greetings, divine mirrors. Sacred, awakening, remembering, gods and goddesses, one and all. Thank you for showing up. Welcome to Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess, episode number 38. This week's topic is aligning with the divine. So we have been here now for over half a year, and consistently it is my good purpose and desire to support us in waking up from the hypnosis of mortal reality. I even have a group by that name you can join, along with other things you can find in the description above, where if you felt so inspired to come play with me, you would be most welcome. So the divine play, as I often describe it, is filled with all sorts of storylines, all sorts of characters, all sorts of intrigue and drama and comedy and dramedy and tragedy and farce and every genre under the sun, every genre that you could ever imagine and dream up is being, has been, and likely will continue to play out here. And the purpose, I would say, through my own deep contemplation, and I would love to hear your interpretation of what is going on here if you care to share it. As always, this is meant to be an interactive dialogue. I will keep the ball rolling for 2 hours, whether anyone joins me or not, and it is always more fun when two or more are gathered. So I certainly welcome you into the conversation. You need to be on a mobile phone in order to engage with this technology. There is a little icon on your screen that has the outline of a person with a little box and the outline of another person inside of that. And that is where you would go to send me a notification to let me know that you would like to join me live. The other option is Fitzhugh Jenkins. Welcome. Nice to see you here. The other option would be to type in the chat and let me know that you're interested, and I will do my best to find you and bring you in. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It all has to do with how the stars are aligned in this particular moment or that. So anyway, so having been here for a number of trips around the sun at this point, and choosing a very dramatic entry point through my parents, who were survivors of war, awareness of war and the ravages of it have been part of my journey and my life experience since conception and gestation and birth. And so, logically, I have been a crusader for peace and a natural born peace ambassador, with a goal that I had set to be a catalyst for peace in my mother's lifetime. And so my mother passed about 3.5 years ago, and I not only did not achieve that goal, but the state of the world these days is so shocking and astonishing. And of course, many of us who are on a spiritual path would say that love drives up everything unlike itself for healing. And so all that is dark and in the shadows of humanity is coming up for examination in order to be cleared, and for us to transcend and to grow. And so it's interesting because in this metaphor of using theater or film, all the world's a stage, all the men and women merely players, it occurs to me often, and I would describe it as that we are divine beings playing human. right? And so we're all, and I actually wrote this the other day. I feel like just reading it to you. So we are all playing human, agreeing to act limited and finite when we are, in fact, divine miracles. So then the question that I ask myself, am I breaking protocol by calling foul and shouting, the emperor has no clothes? Am I spoiling the game? Am I supposed to shut up and pretend like most everyone else seems to be doing? Like, if you can't beat them, join them. And so it's like, if what happens if I refuse to keep playing the game? So that was the question for me, is like, okay, there's something about pretending to be mortal and finite and limited and fragile that is painful and tragic. I mean, it certainly has a bittersweet quality to it. By believing that, hopefully it makes us feel an awareness of the preciousness of every moment of our existence, and to treat it with that level of honor. And yet there is so much suffering that takes place, and so many people who are in a state of despair, that everything in me wants to just rise up and go, okay, let's lift the veil now. Let us all awaken from this hypnosis of mortal reality, and let us remember the truth of our divine nature, that we are indeed walking, talking, living, breathing miracles. And if we can bring ourselves to a level of awareness where we actually can see it, and it absolutely requires slowing down. It absolutely requires being willing to step out of the frantic pace of the rushing clock and the calendar that are constantly running away from us, and we're trying to catch up, and we're feeling like we're behind, and we're feeling like we're missing the boat, and we're feeling like it's too late, or we're not going to get to do all the things that we wanted to do in this particular lifetime. And so there's this underlying sense of tragedy and hopelessness that certainly has increased exponentially since the pandemic, and certainly with the latest eruptions of war that we are experiencing, and the divisiveness, and all the different ways that humans seem to be separating themselves from one another, which, we would have liked to believe that we would have evolved past this at this point. So what I'm speaking to is a deep inquiry on my part about the value of continuing the game versus having us stop and really drop in with one another on a much deeper level, to see and feel and get in touch with the miracle, the profound, indescribable miracle all of this actually is. I mean, if we could get ourselves to live in a constant state of awe and wonder, if we could live in the wow of how blessed, how fortunate, how privileged each and every one of us is to actually get to exist. Everything else, in my opinion, is window dressing. It's like, what is our personality? What is our form? What are our circumstances? What are our relationships? What is our appearance, our preferences? All of those kinds of things are intriguing and make us each unique and interesting. And as we focus there, we miss out on the primary miracle. It's like, so many of us are looking for a miracle in our lives. I need a miracle. And yet we are overlooking the fact of the miraculousness of our own existence and the existence of all that is. And so my desire is to support us in aligning with the divine, aligning with the truth of the miraculousness of our nature, as part of nature, as part of the intelligence that is orchestrating everything that we get to see and hear and feel and smell and taste and think about in our embodiments. So I'm noticing that a lot of people are joining us. You may have achieved inner peace, at least for a time. I have been practicing for quite some time, and I think, yeah, I think I'm pretty good at it at this point, and I feel very, very grateful for that. I'm seeing that a lot of new people have joined. Dan Ribicoff is here. Rebecca Harmon. Nadine is here. Nice to see you. What is I'm missing? I can't quite read that. It's wow. Yes, it is. It's wow. So as I have said prior to people joining, this is meant to be a dialogue. And at any point that any one of you would enjoy coming on camera with me, and even if you don't know whether you would enjoy it, I am such a safe space for you to get your feet wet and give yourself permission to jump on and share your voice, share your perspective, share your face. God gave you a face. God gave you a voice. They're meant to be seen. They're meant to be heard. And I absolutely believe that evolution is a team sport, as an old friend used to say, and that we are in this together. We each have a piece of the puzzle, and all of us will benefit, expand, and grow by getting to hear your thoughts about this or any subject that is alive for you right now. Because even though we are walking different paths with different storylines that we are living, there's fundamental, basic archetypal experiences that we're pretty much all having, and we can learn about our own journey by sharing with one another and listening to one another. So please do come on and join me and let everybody hear you. So aligning with the divine, what does that mean? Well, for me, it means, there's a biblical quote, "Be still and know that I am God." And I remember reading it as a child and wondering about which I was speaking. Was it the I of the deity in the sky, or is it the I of me, the reader? And ultimately concluding that they are one and the same. And it was the one that miraculously subdivided itself into multitudes for the sake of the divine play, for the sake of this astonishing game, with an ultimate intention to reunite, to lift the veil. Welcome, Bella. To lift the veil and to bring us back into that awareness of the oneness. So how do we do that? Well, for me, the way that feels effective is to continually slow down, to continually put my attention on my breath, to continually bring my awareness to the miraculous intelligence and orchestration of everything that is taking place in this dimension. And as I align with it and as I drop into it, my unique concerns and worries and things that are kind of programmed into me growing up in this culture start to fall away. And I start to feel a timelessness, and I start to feel a spaciousness, and I start to feel an expansiveness. And in that space, an awareness arises that all is well, that everything is unfolding with meticulous precision. And even though I can't see it so much, I can feel it. So let's try it right now. Let's go into the silence together. Let's give ourselves permission to really be still. Can you feel your nervous system settling down? Can you feel a calmness coming over you? A quiet sense of knowing that all is actually well. And the more we can allow existence to unfold without feeling obliged to push the river, the more our egos can get out of the way and allow existence to show us the most graceful, the most peaceful, the most easeful ways of allowing our lives to move forward. I assert that there is a plan unfolding. Welcome, Maury. There is a plan unfolding that is more beautiful and more sacred than anything that we can come up with using our programmed ego minds. And this is what is meant when it talks about, in order to enter the kingdom of heaven, we have to be innocent as little children again. Because as long as we think we know, we are putting ourselves in a position of leading that only sometimes turns out. And we miss out on the wow. We miss out on the wonderment of being surprised, the wonderfulness of getting to be surprised. So it's requiring cultivating a kind of a spiritual patience to be curious and wonder, what is the divine going to do next? How is the divine going to demonstrate to me its love for me, its understanding of me and my needs and my desires and my wishes for myself and for the world. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. My rod and my staff comfort me. And I interpret my rod and my staff as those things in the material plane that I hold on to, whether it is a mudra, whether it is in my own hands, whether it is my seat in my butt, whether it is my feet on the ground. All the evidence that surrounds me, that there is an intelligence that brings things from the unmanifest to the manifest. And my primary role here is as a witness to the mystery and a recipient of the grace of this miraculous realm and all that it can provide. And again, it requires a willingness to be still, to go slow, so that I can pay attention and be present moment to moment to moment to moment. Because unlike in a movie as we understand it, from Hollywood, we can't cut out any scenes. We have to go through frame by frame by frame by frame to get from here to there, wherever there might be. So the willingness to trust our journeys, because it is our resistance to what is that is the source of our pain. So if we can train ourselves to be willing to observe ourselves and our circumstances and claim the perfection, moment to moment to moment, of exactly where we are, exactly how things are, that it must be right, because if it wasn't right, it couldn't be happening. So whether we look at it as everything being in divine order, or we look at it as everything being in divine disorder, either way, it is divine. And the more we claim the perfection of even the most challenging, the most shocking, the most confusing, the most disturbing of experiences, and we learn to say yes to all of it. The willingness to say yes to all of it is the thing that gets us to transcend the illusion of contrast, when every single thing that occurs in this field is coming from that intelligence. Are you grokking me? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Am I making sense to you? I will invite the new people to please take advantage of the opportunity to come online and dialogue with me. You can either indicate it through the little icon on the screen that shows the outline of a person with a little box and another person inside of it, or just type it in the chat that you'd love to come on live with me, and I will be happy to bring you here. And in either case, feel free to comment in the chat so that this feels more like an interactive experience, and we will keep on keeping on. Personally, I feel like realizing. So you're saying everything is of God, so contrast is an illusion. Yes, that is what I am saying. It's kind of like, well, this is a perfect metaphor for you, Stu. It's kind of like when you're working on a painting and you are, painting different shapes and you're painting different colors and some things are people and some things are horses and buggies and some things are buildings and some things are trees. It appears to be contrast. It appears as if all of those things are different from one another. And yet, if you run your hand across the painting, it is just one thing. And in reality, everything, absolutely everything, is made of energy. Energy is the only thing that is here. So it manifests as different forms. It manifests as different experiences. It manifests as different tastes and textures. And yet, at its most essential place, like quantum physics has proven that all matter is 99.99999999999% empty space. So we are all part of this great holographic optical illusion where we appear on the screen as different, and yet at essence there is no separation. We are all the same. And the more we can come to accept that and rest there, the more safe and at peace we can feel in our own bodies, in our own environments, in the presence of anyone. Because no matter how they're behaving, no matter how they're acting, no matter what they're doing, we know who they really are. And our knowing can neutralize any threatening vibe or frequency we may be observing, if that makes sense. So when I say the topic for today is aligning with the divine, it is an invitation to become so safe inside of ourselves, to feel so held and supported and taken care of by this omniscient intelligence that conceived us, that breathed and breathes life into us, that animated us, and that for whatever reason, for the sake of the play, continues to want our characters to be here. And I believe that the more we celebrate that, the more we appreciate it, the more we relax into it and start to really have a good time understanding our own miraculousness and the miraculousness of all that is, the longer we can remain here if we so choose. And for me, I feel like letting go of the illusion of time as this man-made contrivance, the clock and the calendar, which took infinity and compartmentalized it into, manageable segments. And that's a valuable tool, because without that tool, you wouldn't know to come and meet me here on Tuesdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. So it's awesome to be able to get to use this man-made contrivance, called time. And it's even better to not feel beholden to it. So it's a tool we can pick up when we want to use it, and a tool we can put down when being infinite in our nature and transcending the illusion of aging and decline and being able to live vitally in the eternal present for as long and timeless time as we might enjoy, that feels pretty empowering to me. So, I'm throwing out a lot of concepts. This is all like my journey and my personal observations and musings about these things. And I love to share them because I feel them to be extremely liberating and empowering. And I see so much suffering and struggling and fear and regret and worry and so many things. And it's like, hey, like I said at the beginning, the emperor has no clothes. Am I a spoiler to be saying this? Should I just like let everybody be on their own journey and figure it out for themselves, or not figure it out, and then they come to the end of their journey and they croak, as Abraham Hicks would so irreverently say, and pop out of this field and discover themselves elsewhere? I don't exactly know how that works. The only thing I can say is that I don't know how many years ago it is now, that I was on a guided medicine journey, plant medicine journey, and it was very, very, very well guided and really sacred, and introducing some very exalted thoughts into the field. And there came a moment where I attempted to open my eyes. This really happened to me. And the light of the place that I was in consciousness, was so bright that it was literally searing my eyeballs, and I could not keep my eyes open to look at it for more than a nanosecond at a time. What I got to see was architecture and materials so exquisite and so refined that it was like the brightest gold I had ever seen in my life, and the biggest rubies and emeralds and sapphires and diamonds encrusting all this architecture. So the closest thing that I've seen to it was actually last year, when King Charles was had the coronation, and they were inside Westminster Abbey, and I saw the architecture inside of there. It was the closest to what I had seen with my eyes, that I couldn't even open my eyes to see, but it was nowhere near as bright. And so when I watched the coronation, it actually occurred to me that whomever designed that and built that had a glimpse of what I got to see, and brought it down to the most human level that they could recreate it in. And that is exquisite, and that is astonishing to see, for whatever years that was, the 1700s or 1600s or whenever that was built, that they were able to create something so majestic and holy, and yet it doesn't even come close to the level of brightness that I got to glimpse. So, like, who gets to be there, and who gets to exist in such a refined field is fascinating, and I would love to find out at some point. And in the meantime, using that to inform my experience of getting to be here and to feel so profoundly blessed to get to be a character in the divine play, to get to have a form, to get to have a personality, to get to have characteristics, and preferences and all the different things that I get to experience as a character here that I don't particularly want to let go of anytime soon. So learning to genuinely love and savor every instant of getting to be here rather than trashing it and complaining about it and judging it and criticizing it and blasphemously wishing that I was out of here and wishing it was over. It's like that is all coming from such a wounded place. And I get it. And I've been that person. And I have so much compassion for all of us and where we are in our journeys and all that we are challenged by. And all I can do is share with you from my experience the absolute best thing that we each can do to heal ourselves is to slow down enough so that we can feel everything and have the utmost compassion for ourselves and forgive ourselves and forgive every other character in our journey, because everybody is playing their parts perfectly to support us in our hero's journey so that we get to wake up and then we get to shine our light and then we get to support others. So, who has joined? Barbara Rosenthal, Gio, welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. Mark Bush, welcome. So welcome to Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess. This is episode number 38, and our topic today is aligning with the divine. And I would love it if any of you felt inspired to come on and chat with me. It makes it infinitely more interesting for everyone, and it's a beautiful platform for you to get to experience yourself being witnessed and received and listened to as the divine child of the universe that you truly are. So this is where in our microcosmic way, we get to lift the veil a little bit and speak and listen to one another with that sacred reverence that each of us is so worthy of and maybe hasn't yet gotten to experience so much in this incarnation. And so that is my joy and pleasure. So please do take me up on it and come chat with me. Cora Bird, welcome. So good to see you here. So, okay, so I'm going to take a deep breath and invite you to take one with me. How about a song? We are reaching critical mass. Time to climb to the head of the class. Time to release all the pains of the past. To return back to heaven at last. We recall we are one and the same. Oh, wait, I forgot. Time to dance and to let freedom reign. Prophecy, come through me. Now's the time to set us free. Set us free. Prophecy, God is you, and you are me. There is no one out there to fear. We are mirrors reflecting, my dears. See yourselves in each other so clear. past the stories and costumes and fears. Rise up, brothers and sisters, return to our oneness, our godness, return. Turn and face one another and see, 'neath our masks we are one entity. Prophecy, come through me. Now's the time to set us free. Set us free. Prophecy, God is you and you are me. God is you and you are me. Let us become present to the present. That is the miracle. That is the gift. Where right here, right now, we are each whole, perfect, and complete, exactly as we are, no matter what our circumstances are. Because as characters in the divine play, inside of a scene in the divine play, whatever our character is going through was ordained, has been pre-written, has been destined. And we're part of a continuum. So wherever we are, like they say, you can't step in the same river twice. So wherever we are is eternally changing, is eternally evolving. So if we sit on our lotus throne and we simply allow for the scene to change, we can maintain our sense of perfection no matter what we're going through. We can trust that everything is always divinely aligned. Because we are not separate from the field in which we exist. The same field that is supporting the sunrise and the sunset and the seasons changing and the crops growing is supporting us. And we have to feel it to heal it. And we have to slow down in order to feel it and see it, because it's here. But as long as we remain busy, too busy to notice, then we remain off balance and anxious, which is not as fun or comfortable as living from our peace. To me, there is no success without inner peace. And so finding our peace and finding our center is what is building a foundation upon which whatever we create can stand, can be sustainable. So deciding to love and honor and respect ourselves enough to be willing to slow down, to be willing to make becoming quiet enough to observe our own thoughts, heal those that we notice are neurotic and disempowering, and dwell in those that nourish us. And we get to choose to make that work the most important thing that we do. Helps to make us, as contributing members of society, sources of peace and stability for one another. Welcome, Raina. Welcome, Frank. Wisdom, I love to hear. Would you like to come on and chat with me, sister? It's been a while. Love to have you if you feel it. Let me know. We are programmed to chase. We are programmed to believe that time is money and we have to hurry up. We have deadlines. And in that mindset, not today, but soon, no worries, no worries. In that mindset, we can't find ourselves. And consequently, we're off balance, we're insecure, we're uncertain, and we're easy to manipulate. And if we don't advocate on our own behalf, there is no one there that is going to do it for us. So, especially if we don't like the way we're being treated, we have to look to how we're treating ourselves. And if we're not honoring our own pace, and for me, that is moving at the pace of grace. That is where I am choosing to live. I march to the beat of my own drum, and I move at the pace of grace because I choose to be fully present for every precious moment of my existence. I don't want to miss or overlook a single one. And I have had my share of compromising myself and sacrificing myself in the past in order to accommodate others, those who occurred as the authority figures in my experience. And it has taken a while to get to a point where it is like the only way I can hope to live a life that feels right for me is to love, honor, and respect myself so much that I cannot be pushed into anything that I don't really want. I can only be pushed if I feel like I have to give somebody an answer, and I'm afraid of losing an opportunity, or I'm afraid of alienating this person, or losing the connection, or whatever it might be. And aligning with the divine is coming to a place of feeling my source, the benevolent intelligence that animated me, that breathed life into me, that is sustaining me, wants me to have the most exquisite experience that I could possibly have. It doesn't make sense to me otherwise. I employ what I like to describe as spiritual logic. And what I'm saying about myself, I assert is true for you as well. Your Creator wants you to have the most exquisite, the most sublime experience of getting to exist that you could possibly have. And if you settle for less than that, it's you choosing it. It's you doing it to yourself because you don't trust and you don't believe that you have the time to take the time to really feel into whether something is your heart's desire or it is not. You know, last week I offered my first one-on-one Slow Queen retreat here at my home, and I am doing it. It's a thing, and if that speaks to you, you are most welcome to private message me, and we can have a conversation to see whether you were aligned and this is a fit, and we can discuss the details of what that might be. I'm also available for one-on-one online spiritual tune-ups if you are looking for some coaching or counseling in these realms to support you in getting more in touch with yourself and making more self-honoring choices. I would be happy to support you with that, so please direct message me if that's something that you're looking for as well. Greg Archer is here. Cash Oshman is here. This is so cool. So glad to see you. If you're just joining, welcome to Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess. This is episode 38, and our topic today is aligning with the divine. I am always welcome to have guests come on and chat with me. If that is something you're interested in, please type into the chat and let me know, or send me a message utilizing the little icon that has the outline of a person with another person inside of it, and I'll know you're waiting in the wings and get you on here. It would be great to dialogue and hear your perspective on these things. So what I was starting to say is that I offered my first one-on-one Slow Queen retreat here at my home, and yes, I will be doing Slow King retreats as well. And one of the things that I said to this beautiful sister that participated with me, that put her life in my hands, which was a really amazing thing, is that you can have anything you want in the refrigerator or the pantry. Just make sure that you really want it, and if you're gonna have it, really savor it. This is what I want to impart and get across, is that you are sacred. You are sacred through and through, and you are worthy, and you are astonishing, and you are a walking, talking, living, breathing miracle. It is God's great pleasure to give you the kingdom or the queendom or whatever you identify with and as. We are in a sacred, miraculous realm. And the more we slow down to be present with every moment and every detail of this miraculous experience that we are privileged to be a part of, the more we can feel our chooser inside of us of what really inspires us, what really thrills and delights us, and not justify settling for less and rationalizing, oh, I'm hungry, I don't know where my next food is going to come from, I just need something to fill the hole. And we dishonor ourselves when we do that, and we dishonor our source. Welcome, Shayna. So I'm offering you an opportunity to get really connected with yourself. You are worth it. You are worth all the timeless time in the universe that it takes for you to get connected to your own truth and not just go along to get along. It is infinitely more important that you be in touch with yourself and true to yourself than that you be popular and accepted by people that you are having to compromise yourself in order to hang out with. And this is across the boards. Family, friends, partners, co-workers. It doesn't make a difference. To thy own self be true. And when you are true to yourself, you are aligning with the divine. Because you were created unique. You didn't come here to be like anybody else. Welcome, Dawn. You didn't come here to be like anyone else. You came here to express the divine uniquely through and as you. Without guilt, without apology, without shame. Whatever your natural proclivities and inclinations are, they are sacred. They are holy. They are specific and intentional because you are a meticulously crafted masterpiece. There is no one like you in all of creation. So instead of being ashamed of that and insecure about it, it is time for you to celebrate being you. Unapologetically. Everybody's being shy today. I wonder why today. You know, you make me work so much harder when you come on and chat with me. So, but it's okay. I'm up for it. I'm up for it. I'm prepared for anything. And I'm okay with the silence too, because in the silence, all the new thoughts and inspirations can be found. The willingness to just sit and be together seems virtually unheard of in this TikTok-paced reality. And if we can soothe and calm and heal the angst, the adrenaline, we can take our power back. Because once we're still, we can feel that we are already whole and complete. And anything more than this is pure bonus. And from that place of empowerment, we can own our yes, and we can own our no, and we don't need to feel forced or obliged into anything. And nobody can mess with us because we are aligned with the divine. We are connected to Source. I trust the ease and flow. I trust the ease and flow. I release the need to know. I trust the ease and flow. I trust the ease and flow. I trust the ease and flow. I release the need to know. I trust the ease and flow. I love words. I consider myself to be a word alchemist. I believe that we cast spells and we pass sentences with the words that we choose to express what we think and what we feel and what we desire. So I love sharing them with you, and I am here to empower you in becoming more mindful about the power that exists within you to take full responsibility for choosing your words wisely and carefully to truly express your heart's desires, to say what you mean and mean what you say. Because when you are true to you, all of existence lines up to support you. When you are not true to you, the only one you're fooling is yourself. So, any takers? Anybody want to come on and chat? It doesn't matter what you think of me. I'm good with God and that's enough for me. One thing's for sure, my heart is pure, so we can just agree to disagree. I have ditties and jingles and songs for every occasion. It is my magic and my medicine and supports me in getting through many experiences. Welcome, Doug. Nice to see you here. Welcome to Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess, episode number 38. Our topic today is aligning with the divine, and I welcome participants to come on and chat with me. So, what is alive? What is alive in this now? What I want is for all my mirrors to awaken, to realize the truth of their divinity, and to realize how fortunate, blessed, and privileged each of us is to get to be here now, to get to be a character, a sacred character in the divine play. So that when we meet each other, when we greet each other, when we look into one another's eyes, we see awakened souls looking back at us, also feeling fortunate, also feeling blessed. And in that consciousness, there is no space for suffering. There is no space for worrying. There is no space for fear. We get how blessed and privileged each and every one of us is to be here. Welcome, Lola. So it is my great pleasure and privilege to get to be here now as your mirror and your muse as I invite you to be mine. I have a friend who the other day said to me, "You're the muse whisperer." I thought that was awesome. Because she was acknowledging me as a muse, in inviting out the muse in you. Supporting you in remembering the miracle of who you truly and actually are. Muse whisperer, I love that. Isn't that cool? It's so cool. I love it. Tess Kempner, muse whisperer. That's so funny. And it is funny, to just keep sort of upgrading and up-leveling our role and how we see ourselves as part of this whole and part of this global awakening, because we are awakening. It's like there's the doomsdayer characters who are saying that we are going to just destroy ourselves, but I believe this game is rigged for us to wake up and celebrate. I do believe that. And so it just seems to be a lot more exciting and a lot more fun to decide to align and be a part of the team that is here holding the space, awaiting the awakening of all our mirrors. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Let us reach that critical mass. My phone is telling me I have only 15% left, which is suggesting that my cord is not making contact. So let's see. Hopefully that will do it. I really must get myself a new phone. This one is wanting to retire. So anyway, permission to be, permission to relax, permission to chill, permission to get loud, permission to sing, permission to breathe, permission to be who you are, be as you are. Give yourself permission to not feel obligated, to rush, to not have to hurry up because you're running out of time. You're not running out of time. You're eternal. You're infinite. Allow yourself to savor. What is that expression? We don't see the forest for the trees because we're so busy chasing. We're so busy trying to get somewhere that we are missing the miracle that is right here, right now, in the present moment. I am here for all of it, to share the miracle with you, to rejoice in the miracle with you, the miracle of you, the miracle of me, the miracle of all that is. Let us be living in an awareness of the miraculous nature of existence and how abundantly fortunate we are in so many different ways. I used to have a teacher who would say, it's not the money you want, it's the things that you perceive money can buy. And if you allow yourself to cultivate abundance consciousness, to know yourself as abundant, you are in a biofeedback loop, a self-fulfilling biofeedback loop. And the more you carry yourself as an heir or an heiress, millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, to the kingdom, to the queendom, you become a magnet for the universe to give you demonstrations. So that is why, rather than seeing is believing, believing is seeing. Finding those places, those spaces inside of us where we imagine, if I only had this, if my circumstances only were that, I would be so happy then, and this would be the kind of person I would be. I would be benevolent, and I would be a philanthropist, and I would be also, and it's like all there is now. Embody now. Raina, that is true. I got a job offer while on this call, just resting. I love it. I love it. The more permission we give ourselves to be, to experience ourselves as enough. Enough. We are exquisite, unique expressions of the divine. Let us relish that. Let us celebrate. Let us be open, amused, delighted, curious, excited to see how our infinite, invisible partner wants to surprise and delight us. Instead of feeling like we have to figure everything out. I don't know about you, but living in my head is just about the most painful thing that I have ever experienced. And turning my overworked brain, my monkey mind, over to the divine amorphous field intelligence that surrounds me, conceived and animates me, and allowing myself to simply bask in the perfection of the miracle without judging it. Because judgment comes from the wounded ego mind. It is not the truth of existence. The truth of existence is abiding perfection in all the changing tides. So to allow ourselves to experience the version of ourselves that already has the abundance, that already has the sacred environment, that already has the satisfying vocations, that already has the divine relationship. To be that person and to be in relationship with the invisible beloved that is always here and so intimate. To be intimate. To be intimate with life. Life is your beloved. Life itself. I once heard it said, and it was referring to women, but I suppose it could happen any which way, but I'll say it that way, that a woman should be so immersed in her relationship with the divine, the beloved within, that a man has to find God in order to find her. What that means to me is that the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom within, and all this will be added unto you. So, finding the intimacy that you may crave, the beloved within, is the quickest way to get the physical manifestation, representation of that to manifest in your field, because the universe abhors a vacuum. And if you are walking with that energy, then you are magnetizing that energy. If you are walking with the energy of being an heir or an heiress, a philanthropist, then you will magnetize that form of wealth for you to share, because you are already in a mindset and a heart set of being that benevolent person. Blessings, Trina. Welcome. We're making magic here. Good things are happening. As we find and cultivate the peace within, the satisfaction, the contentment, the gratitude and celebration, we magnetize the external representations of those things coming to us, meeting us, saying yes to us, because we are taking responsibility for being the source and creator of our own experience. And it's an energetic thing. It's all about how we want to feel. Everything is energy. And energy is in constant motion. So emotion, energy in motion, is the essence of our experience. And we are moving it through how we feel. And the more we can learn to be grateful for whatever we're feeling, even if it's pain, even if it's grief, even if it's sorrow, even if it's loss, if we can find the beauty and the sacredness even in that, then we can get to the point of the whole purpose of our incarnation, which is to get to play human, which is to get to be here and have the human experience. So if we can embrace all the things that we get to feel in our human experience, instead of shouting no at them and saying, no, this shouldn't be happening, this isn't what I want, and it becomes, this too? Okay, source. Okay, creator. Okay, infinite intelligence. I don't know why I am meant to experience this. And I'm choosing to accept with gratitude that I am, because I'd still rather be here. I'd still rather be here experiencing whatever I'm experiencing, witnessing whatever I'm witnessing, than to no longer exist as me here in this dimension. And it took me a long time to wrap my brain around that one. I was talking about this, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but about 3 years ago, I had gone to a shaman in Mexico, in a little town called Bucerías outside of Puerto Vallarta. And I did 6 days of guided plant medicine journey, 3 days on one medicine and 3 days on another. And so I did 2 rounds of focusing once with each medicine, once on my maternal lineage, once on my paternal lineage, and once specifically on myself. And each time there was just so much purging and so much wailing and crying and grieving and things coming out from toxic stuff coming out from every end. And the whole time, the shaman was sitting beside me, and he was repeating for me to repeat over and over and over again. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Father. Thank you, God. Thank you for my beautiful life. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Father. Thank you, God. Thank you for my beautiful life. And at the time, I was like beside myself, like, no, like, how could you expect me to say it? It's not true. That hasn't been my experience. It's been so painful. It's been so hard. I feel so like cursed of like how much drama and disappointment and dissatisfaction that I have gotten to experience, how much pain, how much suffering I've got. It's not, and all he kept saying is, thank you, Mother. Thank you, Father. Thank you, God. Thank you for my beautiful life. And really like trying to get me to say it over and over. Well, I tell you, it took me months after that to finally wrap my head around it, to realize I am a character in the divine play. I am playing human. I am privileged to be here. And from my acting background training in this incarnation, in this life, I got my degree in theater in New York. I pursued a career in theater, film, and television in New York. Then I moved to Los Angeles, pursued a career in those things the same way. And everything that I learned about Acting 101, I can apply to the spiritual journey. And to come to a point of realizing that the best characters, the juiciest characters, the one that an actor is jonesing to sink their teeth into, are the ones who are having the most challenging hero's journey, the most challenging life experiences. Those are the roles that have the greatest depth and the greatest range and the greatest transformation. So instead of lamenting and suffering about how cursed I am, how unfortunate it is to be me, to ultimately get to turn that around and realize how privileged I am. How privileged I have been to have been entrusted with such a challenging role. To be just like so many of you who have questioned your purpose for being here and why you have to suffer the way that you do and how unfair and all that stuff. I have been there. And to get to a point where I could genuinely turn around the dominant feeling inside of me from being disappointed, so disappointed. And because it is a self-fulfilling biofeedback loop, it has been, there it is again, and 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 more evidence of why I'm disappointed and why I am cursed and why I'm unlucky and why I must not be deserving, and all of that over and over and over, to finally get to a point of turning the paradigm around where I could genuinely say, I am grateful, I am satisfied, and I am pleased. I am grateful, and this is coming directly from the Slow Queen retreat that I offered. I am grateful, I am satisfied, and I am pleased. I get to be me, and you get to be you. And that is such a sacred privilege, Raina. This is a new spin for sure to see ourselves in a role while going through suffering, lessons learned, and transformation. That is huge, and I am blessed, and so you are. Yippee! I'm so grateful to be offering that to you and having you receive it. Shakespeare said, "All the world's a stage, all the men and women merely players." He was telling us. And the thing is, he also said, hang on a second, my dog wants to leave the room. He also said, I believe it was him, there are no small parts. There are only small actors. And if you saw, what was that film with Jim Carrey, where Morgan Freeman was playing God, and he was the janitor, right? So, from an actor standpoint, if you go see a film, whether it's with Meryl Streep or whether it is with Julia Roberts, you know, they're playing. It wasn't the Truman Show. It was a different one. It was like, it wasn't Oh God. It was Oh George or something. It was like somebody's name, a guy's name, who was God, and I can't think of what it is. A person can be playing a janitor, a person can be playing a waiter, a person can be playing a factory worker, and they're still the star of the film. In the film, they may seem like downtrodden and struggling, and yet the actor who's playing that role could be making millions of dollars for portraying that role. If we apply that to our spiritual journey, then regardless of the role that we're playing, we are still the divine in disguise. And we are still the star of our own life show. It's all a matter of perspective, of how we're willing to see ourselves. We can see ourselves in our awakened state. We can see ourselves as lowly and downtrodden and underprivileged. In our awakened state, we can see ourselves as a divine, having chosen this incarnation to portray this character. And the more we choose to celebrate the character that we're playing within us, it's like if you're Morgan Freeman and you're playing the janitor in that film, I can't think of the name of, unless he went psychotic and like started to believe himself to be this janitor, there is a part of him, the divine part, the dignified part, that is tickled at the role he's playing, at the role he's getting to play. If we can get to that point in our unique experience, if we can become tickled at the role we're getting to play, we can also become curious in anticipation of our turning point. Gee, I wonder when and how that's going to happen. When my character gets redeemed and has a breakthrough and has a miracle. And if we calm down, it's like when a person is drowning and somebody comes to save them, if they have presence of mind, they know that they need to surrender and allow themselves to be saved. If they're flailing and they're kicking, they're going to make it harder for the person to save them and potentially cause them both to drown, right? And if we can stop kicking and flailing in our roles, feeling cursed and disappointed and underprivileged, and actually get hold of the wow. Oh my God, I don't know how, I don't know why, but I get to play this character in the divine play. How amazing. I am the star of my own life show. I am privileged to get to exist, to get to have a role, to get to have experiences, to get to have interactions, to get to think and feel and touch and breathe and smell and taste and hear and make love and suffer. All of it. And the more I can trust the benevolent source of my existence and relax into it and stop flailing, the more I can allow it to show me and make my life experience filled with more grace and ease. Which I get is absolutely contrary to our programming. Raina, yes, all of it is a blessing. I like to think of myself as a star in my own movie, saying, I'm going to go out in the world and strut from now on. Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, the world needs more animated, colorful, turned on characters. Because it's infectious. When we see happy people, it makes us happy too. And we're all modeling for each other. So I absolutely support you and encourage you in going out and strutting. In fact, I'm feeling like I want to pull up my diva wrap, which I actually gave to my Slow Queen retreat participant to learn. And it goes like this. To be a diva, become the diva, the star of your own life show. Define yourself, refine yourself, unmask the you know. To be a diva, unleash the diva that lives inside your skin. Appoint yourself, anoint yourself, you make the rules, you win. No one owns you, no one can, you're good with God, you're free. The power flows to the one who knows their own divinity. To be a diva, embrace the diva and claim your right to be. The way you are is the way you are, you're perfect naturally. The diva does, the diva feels, no more, no less. We live out proud, might shock the crowd with pure finesse. The diva says what the diva thinks, no bones about The diva gets what the diva needs, or else look out. To be a diva, present the diva, and let her show her face. For goddess rules, her power fuels time, energy, and space. Time, energy, and space. Time, energy, and space. Ha! Thank you. And this is true for all of us. It is true for all of us. We are all the star of our own life show. Stage play, movie, television series, dramedy, comedy, whatever you want to think of it as. It's all a matter of choosing how you want to perceive yourself. Do you want to perceive yourself as blessed and fortunate beyond measure? Or do you want to perceive yourself as somehow overlooked and forgotten by the divine? Cursed. Which is utterly impossible. And I dare say we primarily suffer because we really don't trust and believe and know how worthy and loved we truly are. And whatever that hurt place is that doubts that, just give it some love and compassion. Have compassion for yourself. Give yourself permission to go sit. And I say sit, don't stand. Sit in front of a mirror and really be with your reflection. And talk to yourself the way you know how to compassionately talk to another being. And give yourself some soothing words and encouragement. Tell yourself how much you love yourself. Tell yourself how beautiful you are. What a good being you are. How sorry you are for how much suffering you've endured. Be the divine parent to your wounded inner child and give yourself the kind of soothing comfort, compassion that you need. And be gentle with yourself. Treat yourself like you are divine and you are sacred, because you are. I'm thinking of another song. Respect yourselves. Respect one another. Respect yourself, thy sister, thy brother. We are a miracle. Respect one another. Respect this world. The earth is your mother. Each creature here, a child of Creator. We are one family. Respect one another. Open your eyes and finally see the gift of life. That's you and me. Open your heart. Let love flow free. We are the true divinity. Respect yourselves. Please honor thy father. Be gentle now. Be kind to your neighbor. We are all innocent. Respect one another. Open your eyes and finally see the gift of life. That's you and me. Open your heart. Let love flow free. We are the true divinity. Respect yourself. Your body is sacred. Respect yourselves. Be free and be naked. Time to accept yourselves. Be free and be naked. Respect yourselves. Accept yourselves. Accept yourself. Raina says, walk into the room as if God itself sent you, because it did. We are all here by the grace of the divine. Unknowable, unfathomable, mysterious, mystical intelligence that conceived us, birthed us forth, breathed us into existence, and continues to sustain us. It is the only source of our sustenance and our supply. And it masquerades as all the wonderful window dressing we get to enjoy here in this fantastical incarnation. Thank you for loving my song. So there are all kinds of ways to support and participate in this community enrichment endeavor that this has been the 38th consecutive episode of. All that information is in the description field. And if you would please be so generous as to share it on the video on your pages. If you've got some little testimonial that you can add to the preamble of it, that would be even greater. If you feel like tagging people or sharing it in your groups or on Messenger, also great. I have different groups that you can join. I have my musical ministry, which is on Spotify and all the major platforms. There's all sorts of cash apps that you could use if you would like to contribute in the In God We Trust form into this ministry. And if you would like to come on this with something that you would like to talk about or promote, you can private message me and let me know that. You can private message me if you are interested in a Slow King or a Slow Queen retreat. You can message me if you would like to have a conversation about scheduling some one-on-one spiritual attunement sessions. And beyond that, just by shining your light and just using me as a reflection of you and the light and the message and the love that is inside of you that the world could benefit by receiving more of. So all those different ways. Whew. I also need tech support in order to have this become more polished and more professionally marketed and promoted and archived. All those wonderful creative left brain things that are kind of outside of my wheelhouse. And so I keep sharing in this very grassroots kind of a way, and will continue to do so for however long I continue to do so until Spirit has me do something different. But in the meantime, I hope that you derive value from your experience here, and if you do, I'd love to hear about that as well. And I know that I am getting value. I am getting value by growing stronger and more convicted in my own beliefs and my own comfort in front of the camera and rolling with the punches, whichever way things turned out. There's out of these 38 episodes, there's really only been, I don't know, this might only be the third time or so that no one has taken me up on my invitation to come on and chat with me. But that's okay. Building the muscle of being able to hold a space for 2 hours and still remain engaging is something that I feel really, really good about. So, yay for us. And for those of you that have been inspired to stick with me for these 2 hours, that is really an honor that I do not take lightly, especially in this fast-paced reality, when people stick around for 2 hours to just really drop into honoring presence with one another. That is very encouraging to me. So... Thank you. So if there's anything on your mind or heart that is would feel better to say while we still have these 5-6 minutes left together, please do pop it in the chat so that you don't leave here feeling, I wish I had said that. And I shall look within myself to see if there's anything I have left unsaid. I want to share my personal jingle with you. It goes like this. With a jingle on your tongue and a tingle in your heart, you will stay forever young. You will see the world as art. You will sing with every rainbow. You will wish upon each star. You will let yourself imagine, and this gift will take you far. Thank you again for showing up. If you feel so inspired, please mark it in your calendars to come back and meet here next Tuesday, same time, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time, and the Tuesday after, and the Tuesday after, and the Tuesday after that. And if you would share on your pages a promotion when I post the next one, and invite others to join us, I would appreciate that very, very much as well. So I guess that is about it for this evening. Thank you again for being here. Wishing you a beautiful, mindful, divinely aligned week where you feel yourself literally walking with your beloved beside you, where you have slowed down enough to feel that divine presence with you, and where every step that you tread upon this sacred earth is a blessing. Saying, grateful, 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 grateful for every step you tread. And watch what happens as the hard edges and the hurts dissolve. The cynicism, the disappointment, the woundedness evaporates from your experience, and you really do begin to feel how sacred and how privileged you are, and how much humility and compassion and relief that brings, as you realize that you are loved and taken care of. You have been all along, and you always, always will be. And you can start to smell the jasmine instead of being too busy to receive the gift. That is my prayer and wish for you. See you next week.